A lot of people think Ryan Garcia is faking his injury, that it's just an excuse. They're just trying to sell the rematch in any way they can between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney because it was such a big fight the first time. But realistically, how legit is Ryan Garcia's injury? And I think it's legit because they're saying that he needs hand surgery and that he's going to be out away from training for 6 weeks at least to recover before he can go back to the sport of boxing and start training again for fights. But it seems like Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, that rematch is off because ultimately, they wanted to make that fight with Ryan Garcia happen. But I think now that Ryan, number one, didn't look great in his fight against Rolly Romero, and number two, the news that he has an injury now throws a potential excuse in for that rematch. And if Devin wins it, people are gonna take away credit from Devin Haney and his abilities because Ryan Garcia might have a hurt hand and be recovering from it. But yeah, I feel like I need to see the Rolly fight then, because it makes me think if that was the case, the reason and cause for Ryan Garcia's performance and lack thereof of performance, because he wasn't really throwing shots. It was apparently his right hand that needs surgery, and it's just interesting to see because that's the guard hand, that's the straight pipe hand that he uses. So it's just like that's really important that he gets that figured out. It's really unfortunate nowadays that boxers are constantly hurting their hands as opposed to, back then. I feel like still a common thing, but it seems like all the superstars are getting hurt hands all of a sudden, hurting their wrists and whatnot. You got Canelo, obviously, as well. And then you had Shakur Stevenson, who has both hands, the problem with both hands. So you just got to think like the condition of health these days, in terms of staying healthy and staying physically, strong and whatnot in the sport of boxing. It's really difficult because the training is so intense and it takes a toll on the body, and we're seeing that because these are the money makers, and for Ryan Garcia, he's gonna have to get that figured out. But it's definitely interesting. You can't help but think, did Ryan Garcia have this injury beforehand? Because that's what they're saying. And is that the reason why he looked the way he did against Rolly Romero? Because he really was very conservative. Like we've seen Ryan Garcia dropped multiple times against Luke Campbell, second round, against Tank, second round, but he still went at these guys. But with Rolly, he didn't even throw a shot. And obviously there's some credit to Rolly because he's physically stronger, and this was his first time for Ryan Garcia, fighting at 147. So you could take into account that Rolly maybe was the most physically strong fighter he's ever been in the ring with, and that punching power was real from Rolly Romero. But still, just knowing that Ryan Garcia had a hurt hand, if it's true, I don't know. It sounds a little weird because, it's coming out now after the fact that he lost. But I also get it. You don't want to say it beforehand because it sounds like an excuse, and people are going to say, why don't you pull out then? But this kind of stuff, does get released after the fact. Ryan Garcia did end up losing to Rolly Romero, which was shocking to many people. But this could be the reason why he looked the way he did. Maybe Rolly still wins the fight, but we'll never know until they run it back. So Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero, in my opinion, should be the priority for Ryan Garcia at least. Rolly has the ability to do whatever he wants. He just beat the cash cow of the lightweight to welterweight division right now in Ryan Garcia. So he can, call whoever he wants out. He's calling out Pacquiao. He's calling out everybody, David Benavidez. And, he gets the right to do that because he beat Ryan. But I think a rematch between Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero sells a lot now because, if people are thinking that Ryan Garcia could still win a rematch, I think he can still win a rematch, but he has to throw more. He has to be more aggressive than he was and not be as conservative and economical as he was in the first fight. It was excessive, and maybe it is because of the hand, but we'd only know in a rematch. And the thing is, like most fighters, like you take Keith Thurman into example, he hurt his hand, and then he was supposed to fight a bunch of bigger names, and this injury kind of offset his career and made it difficult to get back into the sport. He said he needed a get back fight to shake the ring rust off and whatnot. So if Ryan Garcia has ring rust coming from this hand injury and doesn't want to go straight for a Rolly or a Devin Haney, he might take a tune-up fight because what other option does he have? He has to fight and stay active once he gets that hand fixed but it can't be against, you know, the elite because it's too risky, in my opinion. But who knows, you know, Ryan's wild. Maybe he will go for a big name. But yeah, he has that hand surgery, and hopefully he recovers speedily and well. And, you know, we wish him the best here at Nabs Boxing. But thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys on the next Nabs Boxing video. Peace.